Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to take a look at installing a project management system called OpenProject on Linode using Docker. OpenProject is a web-based project management system for location-independent team collaboration. If you'd like to follow along with this tutorial, be sure to head down to the description to find a link where you can get $100 in free credit to check out Linode for 60 days. Also, thanks to Linode for sponsoring this video. To get started, of course, we'll want to make sure that we're logged into our Linode account. Once we've logged into our dashboard, click the Create Linode button, and to keep things simple, we can click the Marketplace tab across the top of the page and then do a search for Docker. Click the Docker icon in the search results below and then scroll down just a bit. The next section is there so we can, if we want a bit of extra security, create a sudo user and disable SSH for our root account. This is a really good idea when setting an app up for production purposes. For the sake of this video though, we're just going to go ahead and skip that section. So if we scroll down just a bit more, we'll be asked to select an image, and this will be our operating system image, and I'm going to select Debian 11. Next, we'll select a region, and this is where we want our Linode to be hosted. I like to choose something close to me when I can, just to help with latency whenever possible. Now we're going to select our Linode configuration for CPU, RAM, and that sort of thing. To make sure I've got enough resources, I'm going to select the dedicated 4 gig plan, but you could probably get away with the shared 2 gig plan. Go ahead and give your Linode a label just so you can tell what its purpose is, and tags are optional, but they're there if you want them. Next, you'll enter your root password and scroll down to the add-ons section. I definitely recommend backups and a private IP. Now you can click Create Linode and wait just a few moments for the system to spin up. While this is going on, we can head over to our domain registrar and make sure that we have the name servers for the domain we want to use pointed to Linode's name servers, which are ns1 through ns5.linode.com. Once you change your name servers to point to Linode, it might take a day or so for the changes to propagate, so you'll just have to be patient for a little while. Once your domain has propagated, we can head back to our Linode dashboard and then click on Domains. Go ahead and click on Create Domain and then enter the domain you want to use and your email address into the appropriate boxes. Click where it says Do Not Insert Default Records for me and change it to Insert Default Records from one of my Linodes. Then select the Linode we just created and click Create Domain. Hopefully by this point enough time will have passed that we can now go back to our Linode dashboard homepage and open our OpenProject Linode. Up at the top right side of the page, you'll see SSH root at your Linode's IP. Go ahead and copy that and then open your preferred terminal emulator. Paste the SSH root at your IP into the terminal window, and you'll be asked if you're sure that you want to connect. This is just because it's the first time you've connected to this IP address, and the system is just trying to make sure that you understand that this is a new connection. Go ahead and type yes and hit enter. Then you can enter your root password, and now we're ready to get started. The first thing we're going to do for this setup is install Portainer, just so we've got a nice graphical user interface to work in, rather than trying to do everything in the terminal. Go ahead and copy the command line install script from Portainer's website and paste it into your terminal window and hit enter. Give it a couple of minutes and then Portainer will be up and ready to use. Once Portainer is up and running, we can head over to our browser and type in or copy and paste our Linode's IP address and tack on port 9443 in the address bar. You'll probably get an error message saying that the browser doesn't recommend that you continue going to this site. Go ahead and accept the risk, there really isn't one, and then you'll be brought to a page asking for you to create an account in your Portainer instance. Change the username from admin to literally almost anything else, and then type in your password twice and click the button below to continue. Now we're going to head over to the environments link on the left side of the page and click local. Then we're going to enter our Linode's IP address and click the save button. This is just to set the IP variable in Portainer to prevent us from having any issues later on. Once we've got this step done, we can go back to the home link at the top of the page and then pretty much click anywhere in the middle of the page on the right side. Next, we want to create a stack. This is just Portainer's equivalent to a Docker Compose file. Then we're going to click Add Stack at the top right of the page and give the stack a name. Be sure to use all lowercase letters or Portainer will have a bit of a fit about it. Now we can copy and paste the Docker Compose linked in the video description into the text box in the middle of the page. Now what this is going to do is actually deploy 2 separate containers. The first container listed in the Docker Compose, or stack in this case, is the OpenProject setup that we're going to use for our installation. Be sure to change the secret key base to a random string of characters and change the host name to the domain name that you want to use for this project. Again, this is going to be the same domain that we set up earlier in this video. One thing to note here is make sure that you don't enter HTTP or HTTPS or anything like that. Just enter the domain name. This is one of those situations where OpenProject will also yell at you if you don't put this in correctly. I would also set the HTTP option to true for better security later on. The second container that we're going to deploy using this Docker Compose or stack is Nginx Proxy Manager, and we're going to use this to not only route our traffic on Linode, but also handle SSL certificates. The way I've got this configured is already set up and ready to go, but you can change the volume mapping if you need to for any reason. Once you're happy with your Docker Compose or stack setup, you can click the deploy button down below and give the system a few minutes to pull up the assets needed to deploy the containers. The page will reload when the assets have been pulled and the containers have been deployed, and you'll be brought back to the stacks page where you'll want to click the stack that we just created. You should now see two containers running, Nginx Proxy Manager, or NPM, and OpenProject. Click the 81 listed under ports next to the Nginx Proxy Manager, and you'll be taken to the login page for Nginx Proxy Manager. The default credentials are admin@example.com and change me. When you log in for the first time, you'll be asked to change your credentials. So go ahead and do that, and then we can move on to the next steps. So what we want to do next is actually create the SSL for our domain name. So go ahead and click the SSL certificates link at the top of the page. And then we're going to click the Add SSL certificate near the top right of the page and then click Let's Encrypt. So now a window is going to pop up and you can enter your domain name and then click that you agree to the terms of service and then click Save. After a moment or two, the page will reload and you should see a new entry on that page for the new SSL we just generated. Next, we'll go to the Hosts tab across the top of the page and then click Add a new proxy host. We're going to then click Add Proxy Host and again enter your domain name in the appropriate box. The scheme can stay HTTP in this case. The forward hostname /IP can be found back on our Portainer page. So head back over there and find the OpenProject line in your list of containers. Next to that, you'll find an IP address listed between the container name and the ports assigned to it, and it will probably start with 172. Copy the IP address from the Portainer page and then paste it into the hostname /IP box over on Nginx Proxy Manager. The port we're going to use in this case is 80. Be sure to check the three options below that and then head over to the SSL tab in the pop-up window. Select the SSL we generated in a previous step and then select the four options below that to make sure that the system forces us to use the SSL. Now you can click Save, and in just a moment the page should reload and you should see your domain name as a new entry on this page. When you click that, a new page will open and you should be taken to the login screen for OpenProject. The default username and password for this first login will both be admin. So username is admin, password is admin. So go ahead and enter those and get logged in. Once you're logged in, the system will prompt you to go through an overview of how OpenProject works, and I encourage you to go ahead and take a look through that. Once you've completed the little overview, you'll want to head to the OA in the top right-hand corner of the screen and click on My Account to, at the very least, change the admin password. What I would actually recommend, though, is going to the user administration and creating a new user with administrative privileges, and then logging in as that account and deleting the original admin account, just for a bit of extra security. So now log out of your admin account and then log in with the new administrative account you just created. Then go back to the admin settings and go to the users and permissions page. Click settings and then check the box next to user accounts deletable by admins and click save. Now go to the users page and click the admin account, and at the top right of the page there'll be a delete option. Click that and then enter admin and click delete. You'll be prompted to enter your password as a precautionary measure, so go ahead and do that and then click confirm. The system is now set to delete the account when it runs its background tasks. The next thing I think you're going to want to do is set up email notifications. So let's go back to the administrative section of the website and go to emails and notifications. Then click Email Notifications and scroll down the page until you find the Configure Your Email Provider section, and then enter your email configuration settings so that you can send notifications and that sort of thing. Something to note here is that you will need to submit a ticket with Linode to have your SMTP ports unblocked. These ports are blocked by default to prevent scammers and the like from abusing Linode servers with spam and emails and that sort of thing. At this point, we have set up OpenProject via Docker on Linode, and you can start building and tracking your projects. You can also invite others to your server and assign them to the projects that they need to be assigned to. So do me a favor if you found this video helpful and give the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out quite a bit. Also, I'd love to know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on OpenProject and if this is something that you would use for your setup. But with all of that said, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video, but I want to thank you for just spending a couple of minutes of your day with me today, and I'll talk to you in the next video.